Hey, welcome back to the How to Podcast series. It's Dave with you. Hope you're doing well. Episode 421 of the How to Podcast series. We got over 500 episodes, though. If you go back and you look at the Daily Daves and all the other stuff here, all the podcast goodness of the How to Podcast series, you'll see that we have quite a few episodes for you. And I know it's a little overwhelming, but there's a lot of great stuff here. So if you're bored and you have nothing to do today, and you want to kill a few hours, well, many hours, head back in the library. Go back. Go back to the beginning. Go check out some of the other episodes. Look at the titles. See what catches your fancy. Don't know if I've ever had my fancy caught before, but apparently it's possible. So go back and see what catches your fancy and check out some of the past guests. Start there. That's a great place to start because amazing podcasters that you should know and love. And that's the idea. And if you, if you want to be on the show, talk about your podcast journey, whether you're just starting or you've been doing this forever, then please let us know. Jump into howtopodcast.ca. There's a calendar link there for you. Come on in and let's get you on the show. You can be one of our next amazing guest co-hosts and talk podcasting, what works for you, what you're struggling with, how we can help you. I'd love to have you come on. And a reminder, while I'm still plugging, I'm looking to have 5 conversations per month with people just like you. So now, normally we put this at the end of the podcast, but I want you to hear this. I want to talk to 5 listeners every month. That's a goal I've set for myself so far, having great conversations with people just like you. They have been listening one person has been listening for just a few weeks. Some have been listening for years. And the insight, the chance to talk to someone who listens to your show, so much fun. We don't tape them. We're not recording them. They're not going out as an episode. They're just you and me, just having a conversation about this show. And I just want to meet you. I'm being very selfish, I know. But I just want to meet you and have a conversation about the show, what you love, and get your input. So 5 podcast listeners of the How to Podcast series every month, completely free. I'm not going to sell you anything. It's not what I do. I just want to chat. So reach out to me through the calendar link on my website, and let's get together and have a conversation. So when you fill out the calendar invite, there's a comment section. Just put listener in the comments so I know it's you and that you're coming for that reason, and I'd love to chat. So do that today, okay? Right after this, go do that. All right, sweet. Now, I want to talk to you about trust. Trust as your brand and how to lead with integrity in podcasting. I've heard it often that when we start with our integrity and 0 listeners. That's how every podcast begins. And we can gain listeners and lose listeners. We can gain more integrity or deepen our integrity. We can also lose our integrity and our trust. When I see like they take you on the film lots when they film TV shows and movies, and they take you down like a street in New York, and then they turn the corner and then they're in like the Old West, or like an old Western. And then they turn the corner and they're in France. And it's all in the same lot. It's all in the same location. But you feel like you're there in front of like, you're actually in New York. When you're standing on the street, it feels like New York. But you're in California. And when you go and take a peek around these amazing towering buildings on both sides of the street, you realize these aren't actually real buildings. Yeah, sure, there's steps that take you up to the front door, and there's windows and all of that, but there's nothing on the other side of that wall. It's a facade. It's just a fake city street. There's nothing there. So if you were to go and walk around the corner and look behind, you'll see a bunch of nothing. And when I am working with podcasters, one of the things we really talk about a lot is our integrity and making sure that there's something more than just the facade of our show. There's something there. There's something who we are as people. there's something meaningful to what's happening behind the scenes, not just what's public facing. As our listeners listen and as we get on video and all that stuff, we're putting ourselves out into the community, out into the world, and we're battling for attention. We're battling for time in people's calendar to listen to our show. You've given up stuff to listen to this. So we need to show up with integrity. Now, I want to tell you something that happened for this show and how I've responded and kind of why I did it. And it's all about you, really. It's not really about me. It's about you. So let's jump into that. If you're lacking in emails in your inbox, you're like, man, I wish I got more emails. Start a podcast because you will get a crap ton of emails simply by being a podcaster. You're going to get people wanting to make your YouTube channel better and get you viewers. You're going to have people who want to get you to the top of the charts. You're going to have people who want to sell you things. You have people who are just going to come out of the woodwork looking to get in front of you and pitch. And when I see that, it's like, oh, pitch, please, right? You're just like, my gosh, come on, what's going on? And I got an email recently for an advertiser for this show, this very show right here, from a very reputable company, a company that most podcasters would love to work with. But there's two problems with this pitch. I love the idea that somebody even consider this show. That's amazing. So thank you. But there's two considerations that I have, two things that I'm struggling with. First, I don't have commercials. Like at all. I talk about what I do for editing and what I do to help people and what I do to help podcasters get started and the coaching and the stuff that I do, but I don't have ads in this show. I'm not tied to any particular vendor. I don't have anybody giving me money to do this. Out of the kindness of the listener, you have been supporting the show through my Buy Me a Coffee at howtopodcast.ca. You have been donating and giving money to the show, and that's very helpful. And I love it because I can take that money and redistribute it to other podcasters. That's what I do with the money that comes into the show. But I don't have any ads. And I feel like that is one of the strengths of the show, is that you're not being inundated with 3, 4, 10 different advertisements for every episode, going skip. Like, how annoying. And I have shows that I love, and I can tell you where all the ads are because I have to have my phone in my hand to skip all through all the stuff. I'm not interested in buying anything from that particular podcast, but it's great content, but they just heavy into the ads. So when this company reached out to me and said, we would love to sponsor your show, I was torn. I don't like having ads in my podcast. Sure, if you want to, that's what you go ahead. Like, I'm not trying to dissuade you from ever accepting an ad, but for me, Dave, it doesn't fit with where I want to go with this show. So I have that as a problem. The second part of the problem is I don't recommend the service where they were asking me to support them and talk about their tools and what they do. I don't use it. I tried it and I didn't like it. I found that tool to be difficult and hard to work with, frustrating for my guests, and I don't recommend it. I know people who use this tool and they love it, but for me, again, this is from my point of view, it wasn't a tool that served me, caused frustration for my audience, caused frustration for my guest, had things in it, built into it that I don't need, and I can't get on the microphone here and tell you or implore you, is a good word, right? Implore you to go buy this service or sign up for this whatever if I don't like it and I don't use it. My fear in doing that is I'm giving you a false message. Well, if Dave's going to talk about it on the show, and over 500 episodes, Dave's never had a commercial, and all of a sudden, here comes Dave pushing this software, service, whatever, then Dave must like it. So then, because I like Dave, I'm going to buy the service, only to find out later that Dave just took the money because it was convenient, and he doesn't like the service, and he doesn't have any desire to even use it himself. So it's misleading. And could I kid on and say, hi, I have this new sponsor. Sponsor A is now part of the show. I personally don't like the service, but you could try it. Here's a link. That doesn't feel very good to me. I don't like that. It's a little disingenuous. So that's my wrestling. That's my struggle for this show. As vendors are starting to reach out to me now with this many episodes, I want you to know something. They're more interested in you as a listener than they are of me as the podcaster. They really don't have any allegiance to me. They just want to get in front of you. And the more people they get in front of, the more opportunities to sell their product. So, in essence, from my point of view, again, my point of view, Dave's point of view, I'm selling my audience in that moment. We've worked together as podcaster and listener. We're friends. And I feel like I'm kind of just giving you to them. And for me, that's a knock on my integrity. That's how I look at it. It's a facade. It feels like I'm using the show to make money off of your time, and it doesn't fit for me in where I'm going with my podcast. Would I love to make a ton of money with my show? You betcha. I would love to make a ton of money. That would mean I could leave nights. That could mean I could be home with my wife in the evenings and not be going to work at 10 p.m. Yeah, I would love to have that life. But that desire is not your responsibility as a listener. It's not just because I create a podcast doesn't mean that I deserve an audience. It does not mean that it's your responsibility to pay for all of this. I could just stop podcasting and it doesn't cost anybody anything, right? It's not your responsibility to pay for this show. So it's my choice then in that moment, realizing that making money with my show is not the ultimate end of why I'm doing this. I'm not turning this into a business where I make money directly from you as a listener, putting you and subjecting you into sponsors' advertisements. It just feels odd. So I'm wrestling with the integrity of the show in real time, thinking, how can I serve you with integrity? How can I be more than a facade? How can I be real? And how can I put in front of you the resources, the tools, the encouragement, the community, all the things to make you successful without making you live through and listen to multiple commercials about products that I would never use? So my question for you in your podcast, whether you're just starting or you've been doing this forever, where's your integrity line? Like, where's your line in the sand that says, I will go this far with my audience, or I will not go this way, or I'll accept everybody that wants to sponsor the show. I just need some sweet podcast money? Or do I have a line where I'm like, I'm not going to cross this line because it feels like I'm not being authentic with you. I'm not being real. I don't have integrity. So some things to do when you are being tempted to step out of your alignment as a host, where somebody's going to reach out to you, they're going to offer you something, and you're like, it's pretty tempting. There's 5 things I want you to think about, okay? some practical strategies to reset misaligned temptations. First, define your podcast mission. I would love for you to regularly revisit your show's purpose, mission, core values to guide your content decisions and all of the partnership opportunities that could come your way down the road. I want you to succeed. I want people to reach out to you. I want your podcast to be whatever you're dreaming it to be. Don't let the lack of my desire to have ads to misdirect you away from having ads if that's your goal. I talk to great podcasters all the time, and this is their business. This is the way they make money. It's how they keep the lights on. So, yes, go after it. Go hard. But it's a different strategy than what I'm doing. So just because there's opportunities doesn't mean I'm going to change my strategy or water down my message, from my point of view, to get money for stuff that I wouldn't actually use. Also, vet your opportunities carefully. Evaluate all of the sponsorship deals that could possibly come your way. Any collaborations. This could be with other podcasters. Again, there's some podcasters out there who teach podcasting, and they're quite interesting on how they show up in this world, how they speak, some of the things they say off topic of podcasting that make me shudder. I'm just like, ooh, that's a spicy take. That's, wow. And in those moments, I feel more distance from me as a listener to them as a host, because they're going down paths that doesn't align with me on a personal level, from a belief and all of that, which makes me kind of take a back seat a little bit. So be careful who you're collaborating with. For sponsors who are giving you money, also other podcasters you have on your show, guests that you feel don't serve your audience. These are all things you got to be careful, and you need to vet these opportunities very carefully. And watch out for trending topics and things that don't align with what your message of your show is. Don't get caught up in juicy, newsworthy trends that take you away from your main mission of your show. Be careful of that. Vet your opportunities carefully. Another thing to consider when we're looking at our misaligned temptations, where we want to maybe veer off what we would normally do on our show, is to always consider your community and celebrate your community. Highlight listener contributions and make your audience feel seen and valued. Loyal listeners are more likely to support you through changes and opportunities that maybe you shouldn't go down, paths you shouldn't take, people you shouldn't be sponsoring the show, people you shouldn't have as a guest. Your loyal listeners will be there to support you through some of these tough decisions you're going to be faced with. And they will feel respected and included if you do what I'm trying to do right now. Demonstrate the fact that as podcasters, we might be tempted to veer away to more selfish reasons, possibly. And again, if making money with your podcast is your main focus, you're just on a different path than I'm on. Doesn't make it wrong. It's right for you. It's what your goal is for your show. So do it, and do it well. But again, from my perspective for this particular show, this opportunity that presented itself just didn't lend itself to being the path I wanted to take at this point. And lastly, be accountable. As podcasters, we can screw up. We can make choices and do things that have a negative impact on our community, on our listeners, make people skip through our show, people leave our show completely. They're like, this, I'm out. When we make mistakes, and they will happen, as podcasters, we need to address them openly and promptly. Accountability builds trust, even in challenging situations and when we make the wrong call. I think for us as podcasters, that integrity in podcasting is not a one-time achievement. but an ongoing commitment. When we prioritize our authenticity, our transparency, accuracy, and respect, podcasters can resist the temptation to stray away from their values and maintain the trust that's really essential for long-term success as a podcaster. It's all about ethical podcasting. Not only the safeguards of our reputation, but it's also how it empowers our audience, fostering really a loyal and engaged community. This is going to be what's going to keep us podcasting and help us to knock down the facade where it looks like the streets of New York, but there's really nothing there behind the windows. There's nothing behind the doors. It's all fake. And it presents well, but it has no substance. And it has no home. Nobody can live there because it's not real. It's just a facade. Podcasting thrives on authenticity and trust. There are opportunities that are going to arise, such as commercial sponsorships, trending topics, or pressure to grow an audience. And podcasters might feel tempted to shift their content or messaging in a way that does not align with the original values and the mission of the show and why you started podcasting in the first place. This can put the integrity of your show and the trust of your audience at risk. So, how are you going to respond to an email from a service provider or a tool or a sponsor? And it seems exciting in the moment. It's validation that somebody from a business point of view sees value in you and your audience, in your show. That's a win. No matter what you do with that email, that's a win. To know that you've caught the attention of somebody who matters. It's now, how are you going to move forward with that? Do you want to start adding commercials to your show? Okay, that's the first decision. Are you willing to commit to that? And then the second is, do you use this service? Do you endorse this service? Would you recommend this service? And if you don't want commercials and you don't recommend the service, then taking the ad feels like a bad choice in the moment because you're doing something that, yes, will bring money to your show, but what are you doing to your relationship with your audience in that moment? And are you hurting it? Are you damaging the integrity of your show when you're given an opportunity to take a path that you weren't expecting to take? I'll say one more time. If you are on the path of making money with your show, and this is how you generate income, then that is the path you're on, and you have already focused on that. Your audience knows that you're on the path. Your audience has experienced your commercials. You're bringing great value. You're recommending services that you trust and use. That's outside of the context of this conversation. I'm talking about when you are offered something that you do not believe in, that you do not use, you do not recommend, and you don't have commercials. What do? Will you take the money and run? Or will you say no? I'm encouraging you as a podcaster to have integrity in that decision and do what's right for you, your audience, and your show. And make the right choice. And if you make the wrong choice, then let everybody know that you made the wrong choice. Adjust, regroup, and rebuild. I'm curious, how are you going to deal with that email when it comes to you in the future? What are you going to do about that? Let me know. howtopodcast.ca. Thanks for listening. Hey, thanks for being here. Thank you for listening to the end of the podcast. You're here with me. I'm so grateful. I want to put something in front of you. For the person that's listened this far, you're my new best friend. So what I'm trying to do every month is I have a goal. And you can help me with this goal. Very simple. What I'm trying to do is have 5 conversations this month with listeners of the How to Podcast series. You don't have to have a podcast to respond. This can be the first time ever that we're going to have a conversation, but I'm looking to talk to 5 people. Now, you're still here, so you're one of the people that I would love to talk to next. So on my howtopodcast.ca website is a calendar, and I'd love to have you respond on howtopodcast.ca. Just click the calendar link, set up time in my calendar, and in the comments section for the meeting, just put something like listener. That's it. If you have a show, put it in the comments too so I can go listen. But if you don't, I just want to talk to 5 listeners every month from now to the end of the month. So if you're listening to me right now, you're the person I want to talk to. And through howtopodcast.ca, you and I can get together, chat about the show, chat about your journey as a podcaster. Where are you at? What do you need the show to become for you? What's missing? Your feedback. I just want to meet you. And as podcasters, I would encourage you to do something similar to this in your podcast so that you can meet and interact with your audience. So, howtopodcast.ca, I'm looking to talk to 5 people every month, and I would love for you to be one of them. Reach out. It's free. I'm not selling you anything. I just want to talk to you at howtopodcast.ca. Let's get in the calendar and chat. Thanks for listening.